So, good afternoon. Normally you don't see me in the car in the afternoon. Normally it's a morning drive along at about 6 in the morning. But it's not today. I've finished work and I'm angry because I'm stuck in traffic. I hate few things more than being stuck in traffic, and that's because there's some roadworks. Yes, roadworks until the 21st of September. Just to put it in perspective, it's just started June. So, 3 months roadworks. I'm going to be like this every week after work, stuck in this traffic, which means I need to get some of this anger off my chest. I've done one of these sort of videos before where I was stuck in traffic and I judged what certain cars people had with a fragrance, and mini drivers would have this fragrance and so on. Well, we're going to do something a little bit similar to that today. Of course, this is all a bit of fun, really. We're not taking it too seriously, but we're going to have some fun with it, and we're going to sort of guess if there's a driver that irritates me while I'm stuck in traffic, or a pedestrian or whatever. I'm going to give them a name and I'm going to put a fragrance to the name as well. And yeah, there was one a minute ago, so not their fault, of course, but the lights changed. I was stuck outside of school and literally the lights all went green, and of course, because there were so many children crossing the road, what happened, I had to wait for about another minute while the lights were green until I could actually go by. And the person that pressed the button, he looked like a nice gentleman, but he irritated me, and his name, I'm going to guess, was Gary. And the reason I think he's a Gary is I think that's a boy band's name from about 2004, let's say. And yeah, he had these baggy jeans and a sort of big white t-shirt. It was far too big for him, he didn't need it. Maybe he's lost a lot of weight, maybe he's doing fitness fragrance reviews like me, but he probably needs to go down a shirt size as a result. But Gary, what fragrance does a Gary wear? Well, a Harry wears a Terre d'Hermès. Gary, you're a little bit more old-fashioned. I feel like Harry, obviously my name, is a little bit more modern. Gary, you're going to be wearing Versace blue jeans. So it's not a really old fragrance, sort of 20, 30 years old in that sort of bracket. But I do see it as a baggy jeans fragrance, probably because the name jeans is in it, but it feels like a baggy jeans, white t-shirt, someone who wants to be a part of a boy band, but he actually just sings in his local pub, his local club, for a few quid, and maybe does a bit of karaoke in Benidorm as well. So Gary, the person who pressed the button that got me stuck at the lights for longer than I should have been, that's the fragrance review. Now, did you hear that noise then? That sort of loud whirring noise? That's because a tractor went by me a second ago, and that tractor had a lot of dust, because I can feel it's gone into my face, gone in my eyes. Now, Trevor, that means I'm not very happy. Yes, I'm calling him. He looked like a Trevor. Why he looked like a Trevor, I don't know. What does a Trevor look like? Well, he had a sort of grey silver hair, short grey silver hair. He had some tattoos that looked like they were probably done 30 years ago, because they're a bit faded, but he did have a good suntan. But then I suppose with the weather like this, if you're sitting on a tractor all day, you will be. But I do respect Trevor to a degree, because like me, he's stuck in a bit of traffic, but he's been grafting hard all day, so I have respect. Now, Trevor, if you drive a tractor, I think that means you will probably have a bit of more of a working alpha male type fragrance, and I'm going to give you a fragrance my brother's had, but a fragrance I've not owned, but I know it's a bit of an old school fragrance. I know he likes it, and I think this is, I'm giving Trevor a lot of respect, actually. I've changed my opinion on him. Yes, he got a bit of dirt in my eye a second ago, but that's not Trevor's fault. We're all trying to do our best. So Trevor, you can have Chanel Anateus. I really want to try this fragrance. My brother liked it, but he's never really been able to define what it smelled like. But it's got a bit of uniqueness about it. I think it's quite a dark bottle, this one. I expect it's got some smoky animalic components. And yeah, that's why, Trevor, you're getting that one. So it's a scent that's got a high quality, high class. Chanel is obviously a brand that's done some brilliant fragrances. And Chanel Anateus is probably one that's forgotten these days. But yeah, we're going to do that one. Coco Chanel, obviously number 5, is a very, very popular women's fragrance. But they do men's fragrances, and Chanel Allure Homme Sport, of course, is a more modern one that's done pretty well and probably would suit my personality. One I do need to try. I believe that's got an orange and vanilla combination. Now, I'm gonna have a go at the car behind me. So hopefully they haven't got their windows open or something. They can hear me or see me. Maybe they're lip readers and they can see me in the mirror talking about them. Now, they are driving a silver Volkswagen Golf, which is actually the same type of Golf my dad has. My dad drives a Golf as well. He used to anyway. Doesn't drive it as much now. Now he's retired. But they're a little bit close to me, and they're kind of irritating me because they're making me feel uneasy. I feel like if I braked abruptly, they'd probably go into the back of me if they were going any quicker. So basically I'm just saying cars need social distancing as well. Now looking at him, he's got a sort of very red head sort of he looks like he's got a cover on his seat. I think he's a Sean. I think he's a bit of a gamer. I reckon he sits on his Xbox all day, and yeah, he's decided to venture out just because, I don't know, he just wants to cause trouble. He wants to stop me from getting home and doing the things I want to do. So Sean, you're going to be wearing a fragrance that actually I like it a lot, but it's kind of gone out of fashion these days. Sean, is he coming the same way as me? No, he's not. Well, Sean's gone. But Sean, that means I can talk even louder now. That means you are wearing CK1 Shock. Yes, I like it, Sean. But I liked it when I was at school. Yes, school, college years. That's the sort of phrase. Sean, you're 40 years old now, or 39, whatever you want to call yourself. You're a 40-year-old man in my eyes. You're wearing a fragrance for a 21-year-old from about 20 years ago when it was relevant. Sean, you need to get rid of CK1 Shock. I love that pipe at the back of it. I love that energy Red Bull Accord it's got, but nobody else does, Sean, and you think they do. Honestly, have you even heard of a blue fragrance? No, but I bet you'll catch up in 20 years, Sean. When you're in your 60s, you'll be wearing Dior Sauvage, and yeah, we would have all moved on from that by that stage. Right, again, cars. So I'm on a really narrow, probably, I don't know how much you can pick this up on the camera, but I'm on a narrow sort of country road at the minute. Now, it is a national speed limit, and it's one of those roads that it is national speed limit, but you don't drive at national speed limit. The car that's just come the other way to me, I think it was a Skoda. I'm not an expert with cars, but it looked like a Skoda to me. She was driving way too fast. Yes, this was a she. And it looked like a Linda. It looked like a Linda to me. I've worked with a few Lindas, and I apologise to Lindas. I don't mean this in a derogatory term, but they all seem to have the same hair. They have a nice fringe and kind of hair that's kind of down to their shoulders, and she looked like a Linda. But Linda had a bit of road rage there, I have to say. So Linda, you're not in my good books, but what fragrance can I give you then, Linda? Because I don't know women's fragrances as well. Right, Linda, I'm going to give you a clone. Well, it's not a clone fragrance, but I'm going to give you Ariana Grande Cloud. Yes, this has been compared to Baccarat Rouge, so sounds like a bit of a compliment, doesn't it? Baccarat Rouge, amazing fragrance, a really, really good scent. And Ariana Grande, I can't even say that name today. See, Linda, you've put me off. This is all your fault. Cloud is a little bit more juvenile, let's say. And I think that's what I'm trying to say here, Linda. You've got a car that looks like a nice version of a Skoda, but it's not the car you want it to be, is it really? It's not the brand new model of Skoda that everyone else wants. You've kind of, a little bit like we were saying with Sean a minute ago, you've kind of come a little bit later to the party, and you're wearing a fragrance that isn't really the one that people want. They want Baccarat Rouge, and look, maybe you should have just gone for a Baccarat Rouge clone. You've now got a scent of Ariana Grande, when, let's be honest, Ariana Grande is more for, again, people who are a little bit younger. But it's a good scent. I'm going to give you that, Linda. But yeah, get a Baccarat Rouge fragrance, or maybe get a clone at some point. Right, we're going to go on to the next one, and I have got my favourite drivers in front, BMW drivers. Now, bit of a disclaimer here. I've got friends who are probably family actually. Have driven BMWs before, so I want to say that first of all, there's no bias here or any badges. But anyone notice BMW drivers seem to be the most aggressive at times? No? Well, I hope you do. I mean, I'll give you an example. The other week, I was driving home and I was on a dual carriageway. Well, this BMW driver is completely the opposite. Honestly, I've just stopped at a roundabout when they could have gone, and they're scared of me, you see. They've now got a little Fiat 500, which we'll go on to later on in a bit. But anyway, that BMW driver is very, very sensible, but some can be quite aggressive. Again, I was on a dual carriageway the other day. I had one flashing his lights behind me. I was in the right-hand lane. I was actually doing, normal speed. I got in the right-hand lane of the dual carriageway in good time, not too early, not too late, because obviously I was going right. Flew by me, then undercut someone else, and yeah, it was extremely dangerous, probably doing 85 miles an hour. But that one in front, I've got to be nice to them, because actually they're driving probably more sensibly than anyone I've seen today. So, looking at the driver, he had dark beard. Do you know what? He's going to be a Harry. Yeah, we're the best. We're the best. And that means you need the best fragrances. And I'm actually going to talk about a fragrance I saw earlier, and I believe it's called Black Lacquer or something like that. Dark Lacquer. I'll put the picture of it up on the screen a minute ago. Doing a bit of research yesterday, and Tom Ford, I didn't realise how many new fragrances, I say new, they're probably 3 to 5 years old, that are out, and this one's in its private Ben line. It's got a bit of ebony wood. I think there might be a bit of peony that I saw in this one. I'm probably getting this completely wrong now, but I know the word lacquer is definitely in this this scent, but it sounds dark, mysterious, and yeah, just a really good fragrance. And that's what I'm kind of saying here with this person. Look, they're driving a fancy car, a well-known car, BMW. No, he's not a strange name, but it's like this alter ego that they've got. They drive a BMW, but they're the most sensible person in the world. It's like me. I'm quite a quiet person. If you see me around running, gym, I keep my head down. I like to do things like that, but I also then wear a really strong fragrance and bright coloured clothing, so I draw attention to myself. So it's a strange, yeah, contradiction, oxymoron, I don't know what the term is. An alter ego, I think is the best way to describe it. And Harry, the BMW driver today, you are the alter ego. You are that person that actually I've got a lot of respect for. You drive very sensibly, and I like it. Now, I was going to talk about BMW Fiat 500 drivers, and it's funny, isn't it? I remember there being a bit of a trend, Fiat 500 Twitter, I think people used to call it. Essentially, it was like teenage girls sort of car, and I quite like a little Fiat 500. I think the only problem is they've become, it's like pug dogs. I used to like pugs, were one of my favourite dogs. I've even got a pug like folder at home, but now everyone's got a pug. Our neighbours have got 2 pugs. Well, they did have 2 pugs. I don't know if they do anymore. They used to, and I know some other friends have got them. It's almost like they're so trendy now that I don't want to like them anymore. But there's a car in front. It's a Suzuki Alto. Okay, it's going to sound really awful, but this is a car for a older man, older woman. And actually, looking at the person, he's got a high-vis top on, and he's got a high-vis top over the side of his passenger seat. He's got to have an older person's name. He looks like a Martin, but you know what? Martin seems like one of those guys that everyone knows. He's everyone's mate, but he's nobody's best friend. That sounds really hard. I don't mean it in a harsh way. It's, you know, I'm a bit like this. I get on with pretty much everyone. I find it very hard to not get on with people, but I probably wouldn't say I'm that close to anyone because I like doing my own thing. I think that's Martin. He's got his big stickers in the back of the car. He looks like he likes a bit of, looks like he's got a surfing sign in the back. So I think he's going to be a bit of a beach goer, which means we need a beachy fragrance. And I'm actually going to give him, do you know what? Martin's going to be quite fancy. I think he'll know Davidoff. And I think he's going to be one of those people that used to like cool water, but he's got young, well, quite young children. They're growing up now. They're teenage children, and they've decided to get him Cool Water Intense, which is a nice synthetic but coconut fragrance. So he's now got Cool Water Intense. They saw that Dad had the original Cool Water in his collection. They thought, we're getting Cool Water Intense, thinking it's maybe the stronger one. Unfortunately, it's not the stronger version of the original. It's just a completely different scent, to be honest, which I do have an issue with. We'll talk about that one in another video. But yeah, lovely coconut nectar is one of the notes. I think it's more like a coconut water essentially. And Martin's wearing that one. I said he prefers the original, he prefers the OG, but you know what? He's a proud family man. He'll wear it because he knows his kids have put the effort in to buy it for him. That got very deep there, didn't it? But Martin, you're still in front of me. Still driving sensibly, and actually you've made this a very fun journey back. And actually I am really surprised. I'm honestly, this has been, I've actually moved since this is the silly thing, since I've clicked play on this video, there's barely been a stoppage, is there? You know, the odd bit of traffic and whatever, and other than that I've been flying along. So yes, it's amazing what people can do if we all drive sensibly and don't faff around and think that the road's yours. So I'm going to overtake you and then cut in later on and all these other things. Does irritate me. Sorry, you're probably bouncing around on my thing. Right, let's see who's going to be judged next. We'll judge whoever the next car that comes by me. I'll have a good stare at them, and we'll will see what name I think they are and what fragrance I think they'll wear. Speaking of which, I'm just coming up to a corner on a bend, so I'm just turning. There was a massive, and I'm not exaggerating, a massive crash that must have happened there because the wall was completely shattered. What is going on? A bike just went by me, but I didn't get a chance to look around the corner. Right, there is a car now. It's a Kia. It's not a Kia I recognise. He looked quite an older gentleman. I'm really sorry if there's anyone called this, but it's an older person's name. I don't hear this name, Roger. He looked like a Roger. He looked like the sort of person that probably has his golf membership. He goes to a spinning class twice a week, but he's the only male there. He's like, like sometimes you see those pictures of people who go to a local gym and they've got their little gym class. Roger's like the only male there. Everyone likes Roger, but yeah, that's his kind of thing. Now, Roger looked like the sort of person that would have a... What does Roger wear? Roger's going to be one of those people that doesn't really have a smell. Do you know those sort of people? They don't smell like deodorant, but they don't smell. Do you know what I mean? Because you just go, how often do you actually really detect people smelling of scents? Oh, city driver there. That's dangerous. We'll talk about you next, I think. Right, Roger, you're going to be wearing Lalique Lion. One of those fragrances I think is very nice, very easy to pull off, but it is a little bit old school, a bit of a throwback citrus. But anyway, a minute ago, a car the other side, I was waiting. Lady was crossing the road, and yeah, the car, because obviously that allowed me to go then, because I was giving way to the right, but I knew they were waiting. Then the car that was waiting for me decided to go, but I had already committed, so I had to put my foot on the brake there. Now this was a lady, and she is driving. Is it a Saab? It's a funny logo. It's one of those ones, or a Seat, or so. No, it's a Saab or whatever it is. Not an SPO, but it doesn't matter because we're not talking about the cars today. We're talking about the driver. She looked a little bit like a Karen. I'm sorry, because I know Karen has got negative connotations in modern world, isn't it? If you're a Karen, from what I gather, I'm a little bit not in touch with the kids anymore, but a Karen's basically those people that moan. And yeah, I think that's what you're going to have with this person. Karen's going to be the person that wears... What do you wear, Karen? What do they wear? They don't really want to wear anything because they don't like it. I'm going to say they wear Gucci Flora. But actually there's some really nice Kew Garden fragrances. But her friends bought her a Kew Gardens fragrance, but she only likes Gucci Flora. She saw the floral bottle. She's like, this isn't the bottle I like. So yeah, she's just a disruptor. Just wants to get in the way of people doing nice things and doesn't consider actually, even if it wasn't the fragrance I wanted, the Gucci Floral one you've got, it's not that fragrance you've got the Kew Gardens one. It's really nice, but you can't see through it because it's the wrong fragrance. That's you. Right, we'll do one more. I'm coming up next to a bus. I'm going to be waiting here a while now. A little bit worried because the people who are next to me, I've got a very small car. They're advertising Toy Story 5 on it, so yeah, they're at eye line with me. Don't know if you could see that bus then, but the bus driver looked nice. He looked like a Benjamin, not a Ben, a Benjamin. Like some people, they're like Roberts. Some people are a Rob, they're not a Robert. It's like some people are a Mike, not a Michael. Do you know what I mean? He looked like a Benjamin. He looked like a sort of cool guy, but he looks like the sort of person that would have worn like a Fahrenheit, a sort of gasoline vibe about him. He looked like he was sweaty. I mean, it's hot today. If you ever sit on a bus in this sort of weather, got a lot of respect for bus drivers, and bin men and all these people that, they do the hard graft. And yeah, Benjamin's certainly one of those ones as well. Right, let's drive on. Benjamin, Fahrenheit is not a bad fragrance, by the way, and if it stops you from smelling, then I respect you. But I hope you've enjoyed this one today. It was a fun video, and yeah, I'll catch you later.